South Africa, Brew, a land of immense beauty and rich history, but also a place of deep scars and ongoing struggles. From the rolling hills of the Drakensberg to the bustling streets of Johannesburg, this country is a tapestry of contrasts. We've been through a lot: apartheid, inequality, the lot. The echoes of our past still reverberate through our present, shaping our society in profound ways. The fight for freedom and equality has left an indelible mark on our collective consciousness. Now we face a new struggle, a leadership crisis. It's a crisis that permeates every level of our society, from the highest echelons of government to the grassroots movements in our communities. The absence of genuine leadership is felt everywhere. It's not just about politicians, it's about the very fabric of our society. We need leaders in every sphere of life, from business to education, from healthcare to the arts. Leaders who can inspire and unite us. It's about a lack of true leaders, leaders who are not just in it for personal gain, but who genuinely care about the well-being of the people they serve. Leaders who can see beyond their own interests and work towards the greater good. People who put the country first, people with integrity, people who are willing to make sacrifices for the betterment of all. These are the leaders we need. Leaders who can restore our faith in the system and in each other. We need more than just empty promises and political games. We need action. We need change. We need leaders who are not afraid to roll up their sleeves and get to work. Leaders who can turn words into deeds. Look at what's happening at ACSA, our airports company. Allegations of fraud, mismanagement, nepotism. It's chaos. This isn't leadership, guys. It's a free-for-all. Our country deserves better. We deserve institutions that we can trust, that operate with transparency and accountability. We deserve leaders who inspire, leaders who can bring out the best in us, leaders who can unite us in our diversity and help us build a stronger, more inclusive society. Leaders who serve the people, leaders who understand the struggles of the common man and woman, leaders who are committed to improving the lives of all South Africans, not just a privileged few. Leaders who build a brighter future. Leaders who invest in our education, our infrastructure, our healthcare. Leaders who understand that the future of our country depends on the opportunities we create for our children today. We need to demand better. We need to hold our leaders accountable. We need to be vigilant and proactive in our pursuit of good governance. We cannot afford to be passive bystanders in our own destiny. We need to be the change we want to see. Each one of us has a role to play in shaping the future of our country. We need to step up and take responsibility for our communities, our institutions, our nation. This isn't just about ACSA, it's about every institution, every organization, every community. It's about the soul of our nation. It's about who we are and who we want to be. It's about the soul of our nation. It's about the values that define us. Ubuntu, integrity, service. These are the principles that should guide us. We need to find our way back to the values that define us. Ubuntu, integrity, service. These are not just words, they are the foundation of a just and prosperous society. We need leaders who embody these values, leaders who can inspire us to be our best selves, leaders who can guide us through the challenges we face and help us build a better tomorrow. Leaders who can guide us to a better tomorrow. Leaders who can turn our dreams into reality. Leaders who can help us build a nation we can all be proud of. The future of South Africa depends on the leaders we choose today. Let's break down this ACSA thing, just so we're all on the same page. The Airports Company South Africa, or ACSA, is a state-owned entity responsible for managing the country's airports. It's supposed to be a beacon of efficiency and safety, ensuring that air travel in South Africa is smooth and secure, but recent events have cast a long shadow over its operations. The CEO, Mpumi Mpofu, is accused of some dodgy stuff, qualifications suspicious at best. There are allegations that her credentials were exaggerated, raising questions about her ability to lead such a critical organization. This isn't just about one person, though. It's about the integrity of the entire system. Financial management? More like financial mismanagement, from what I hear. Reports suggest that funds meant for essential services and infrastructure upgrades have been misallocated or even siphoned off. This has led to deteriorating facilities and compromised safety standards, which is alarming for an entity tasked with overseeing air travel. And don't even get me started on the head of security. The person in charge of keeping our airports safe has a background that's questionable at best. There are serious concerns about their qualifications and experience in aviation security. which is a critical area that demands the highest level of expertise. Let's just say his experience in aviation security is about as extensive as my knowledge of nuclear physics. This lack of proper oversight and expertise is not just a minor hiccup, it's a glaring flaw that puts everyone at risk. But here's the kicker, right? This isn't an isolated incident. It's part of a broader pattern of mismanagement and corruption that plagues many state-owned enterprises in South Africa. These issues are symptomatic of a deeper, systemic problem that needs urgent attention. It's a symptom of a bigger problem, a culture of entitlement, of cronyism, where connections and personal relationships often trump merit and competence. This culture undermines the very foundations of good governance and public trust, of putting personal gain above national interest. When leaders prioritize their own pockets over the welfare of the nation, it erodes public confidence and hampers progress. This self-serving attitude is detrimental to the country's development and prosperity. It's like a virus, this thing, and it's spreading. The more it spreads, the harder it becomes to root out. It infects every level of governance, creating a toxic environment where corruption and inefficiency thrive. We need to nip this in the bud, fast. If we don't act now, the consequences will be dire. Public services will continue to deteriorate, and the gap between the leaders and the people will widen even further before it infects the whole body politic. We must take decisive action to cleanse the system and restore integrity. This means holding those in power accountable and ensuring that only qualified, ethical individuals are placed in positions of authority. We need to hold these so-called leaders accountable. Legal and institutional reforms are necessary to create a transparent and accountable governance structure. The judiciary and civil society must play a pivotal role in this transformation, and we need to demand better. As citizens, we have the power to demand change. We must use our voices and our votes to push for a better future. Civic engagement and activism are crucial in driving the reforms we need. Because here's the thing, we, the people, deserve better. We deserve a government that works for us, not against us. A government that prioritizes the public good over personal gain. Together we can build a brighter, more equitable future for all. So what does real leadership look like? Is it about the power, the fame, or the accolades? Or is it something deeper, something more profound? How do we separate the wheat from the chaff? How do we distinguish those who merely wear the title from those who embody the essence of leadership? Well, it's not about the fancy suits or the big speeches. It's about action. It's about integrity. It's about the willingness to serve others selflessly, to put the greater good above personal gain. It's about putting the needs of the many before the needs of the few. True leaders understand that their role is to uplift and empower those they serve. A true leader doesn't just talk the talk, they walk the walk. They lead by example. They inspire others through their actions, not just their words. They're not afraid to make tough decisions. They understand that leadership often requires making sacrifices and facing challenges head-on, even if it means losing popularity. Think about Madiba, man. Nelson Mandela. He was a beacon of hope and resilience. He spent 27 years in prison, 27 long years, separated from his family and his people, fighting for what he believed in, fighting for justice, equality, and the freedom of his nation, for a free and equal South Africa. Now that's leadership. It's about having a vision and the courage to pursue it no matter the cost. We need more Mandelas in this world, Brew, more individuals who are willing to stand up for what is right, even when it's not the easy path. People who are willing to stand up for what's right. People who are willing to challenge the status quo and fight for a better future. People who are willing to put their country first, to prioritize the well-being of their fellow citizens above all else. People who understand that leadership is not a privilege, but a responsibility. A responsibility to serve, to protect, and to uplift. True leadership is about making a difference one step at a time. We can't talk about leadership in South Africa without talking about state capture. For years, our country was held hostage by a corrupt network. Politicians and businessmen, hand in glove, looting the state coffers. It was like a bad movie, only it was real life. The legacy of state capture still haunts us. The economy is in shambles. Trust in government is at an all-time low. And the gap between rich and poor continues to widen. We need leaders who can heal the wounds of the past, leaders who can restore our faith in democracy, leaders who can build a just and equitable society for all. It's a tall order, I know, but I believe we can do it. We have to. Here's the thing about this whole leadership thing. It's not just a South African problem. Hey, look around the world. America, the UK, even up in Europe. They're all struggling with the same thing, a lack of real leadership. It's all about political maneuvering, point scoring, self-interest. Nobody's actually interested in governing, in solving problems, in making people's lives better. We need a global reset button, I reckon. We need to remind our elected officials that they work for us, the people, that their job is to serve, not to be served. It's time for the citizens of the world to stand up and demand better. We deserve leaders who inspire, leaders who unite, leaders who lead. So how do we fix this mess? How do we ensure we get the leaders we deserve? It's simple, really. 2 words: accountability and transparency. We need to hold our leaders accountable for their actions. No more getting away with corruption and incompetence. If you're in a position of power, you need to be held to a higher standard. And we need transparency. We need to know what our leaders are doing and why they're doing it. No more shady deals behind closed doors. It's time to shine a light on the cockroaches, brew. Sunlight is the best disinfectant, as they say. Let's end on a positive note, shall we? Because despite all the doom and gloom, there is hope. Throughout history, South Africa has produced some incredible leaders. People who fought for justice, who championed equality, who inspired generations. People like Nelson Mandela, of course, but also people like Desmond Tutu, who used his voice to speak truth to power. Like Oliver Tambo, who kept the struggle alive during the darkest days of apartheid. These leaders showed us what's possible when we have the courage to stand up for what we believe in. They left behind a legacy of hope, a legacy we must strive to live up to. So, where do we go from here? What can we do to ensure South Africa gets the leadership it deserves? It starts with us, guys, each and every one of us. We need to be more than just passive observers. We need to be active citizens. We need to hold our leaders accountable. We need to demand better. Vote, speak out, get involved in your community. Make your voice heard. The future of South Africa is in our hands. Let's make it a future worthy of the sacrifices of those who came before us. Let's make it a future we can all be proud of. Amandla?